trying out some new things.
I was really grooving to that intro.
It was like elevator music in all the wrong ways.
I almost forgot what I was doing. I was just like, am I on hold?
Hey, everybody. This is a collab, and we're doing this now for the third time. It's almost like we think it's a good idea. Matt Medeiros from the WP Minute, Matt Cromwell from WP Product Talk and Roots and Fruit. Matt, how are you doing?
Doing great, Matt. Third time's the charm, as they say, and I'm excited to dive into some of these breaking changes.
Breaking changes. Let's break all the changes. It's been honestly going into this this idea of breaking changes. I was like, changes are breaking, but not like all the time. But I might be wrong. Like, I'm like, as we got closer to this this Friday, I was like, there's maybe nothing going on, and then all of a sudden there were things going on. And honestly, sometimes you're the one who's stirring things up. So
yeah, when nothing is happening in the news, you got to make the news. I've learned. But on a more serious topic about like WordPress, these things can. I mean, it's not like you haven't been producing WordPress media for a while, but sometimes there's 6 months of nothing fun happening, nothing to talk about in the WordPress space, and then suddenly, there's a whole new version coming, and there's all kinds of things happening. So yeah, it's the ups and downs of this space.
Yeah, 100%. Folks, if you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, you can contribute to the conversation in the comments, and we will put them on the screen and make fun of you, or we'll answer your questions. We'll see what happens. We'll see how snarky Matt's feeling. So, let's start with a softball. And this might, and I told Matt beforehand, this might be old news to a lot of folks, but I was really impressed. I randomly stumbled upon the 2025 State of the Word blog article, and it said that for the first time in WordPress history, I got to find the exact quote. Where to go? For the first time ever, over 50% of WordPress websites are in languages other than English. Japanese became the second most used language, with Japan reaching 58% website share and 83% CMS share. Like, Japan is blowing up. Matt, you probably covered this in one way or another way back after State of the Word. And I'm just behind the times. But what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, it shows that it's probably the grassroots efforts of a lot of the WordCamps and meetups that have been happening everywhere else except for the United States. So there's a growing market and a growing interest for that. And I would say that there's probably a rise in the not to jump into the AI stuff already, but like there's probably a rise in the tooling around WordPress, to help either translate or create more content with, and WordPress just looking at as one of those, great apps to do it with. The hopeful in me says the world wants an open source thing to do this.
Yeah,
that's the hopeful in me. So I'm trying not to look at it from just like like a real analytical or like a data-driven data-driven lens. It's more like, do people finally want open source? And Japan is sort of leading that track, which is great to see. And I think hopefully we see more of it, of course. But surprising, but also not surprising at the same time that finally there's a broader adoption of WordPress, if you can even say that.
Yeah, I think it's great because the way in which the project is run is very English centric, but now English has less than 50% of all the websites all over the world. But of course, it's still the the highest used language. But I think that should impact the way that everybody contributes to the project in one form or another. I just think that multilingual sites or sites that are localized in other languages are just going to become more and more and more important. Because I've heard a lot of folks, myself included, say almost the opposite. Because it's like, well, AI can just like translate your whole website in the browser now, essentially. So why even deal with those things? Well, you deal with it because people actually care. Like the website experience and making it feel like this website is made for me really, really matters a lot. And the website is not just like whatever you see on the front end, it's also the admin experience. Because
Yeah.
folks all over the world have teams of people who are logging into the admin in order to do things. And if everything is English, they feel like this isn't for me. Um, so I think it's pretty incredible. I think it's a great statistic to show adoption all over the world, and the idea of localization in general. I think it's so significant. I think plugin
Yeah.
authors have to take it like as like, hey, if this isn't on your radar, if you're not taking these things seriously, then you're doing something wrong. So
Yeah, the one thing I didn't look at is are the numbers are going up in terms of overall adoption of WordPress websites, and now the like international sites, the non-English sites are starting to rise, but is the overall number going up? Like the English speaking sites aren't going down, correct? Or are they? I don't know if that was in that article.
it wasn't. It wasn't in the
Okay.
article that way. I
Yeah.
think it was just more about like percentages of the total stats. But I mean, folks have definitely been saying that the total number of new WordPress websites is not as high as it used to be
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah.
We were on such a steep incline for so long, and then of course COVID as well pushed the limits even further, that we're having a slowdown post COVID. And I mean, now it's like we're like really clearly post COVID for a long time already. Um, it's natural that we're not having such huge adoption. I also think it's just there's this healthy sense in which it's like, I mean, what does that mean if 90% of all the websites are built with WordPress? Like, I don't know that that's healthy or good, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we were at 90% and all of a sudden it's 80%, everybody would be like, oh my gosh, we lost 10%. Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe that's a good thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that we hover around 45, 44, whatever, for a while, that still just means tens of millions of websites. You know, if it went down from 44 to 39, it still would mean tens of millions of websites. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like these are small numbers, you know. Um, anyway, I'm not on the doom and gloom when it comes to CMS market share and things like that overall,
Yeah.
personally.
In your original note, you said that this has serious implications for plugin devs that often or who often neglect internationalization or don't encourage localization. Um, Once again, I think at the global level and like where you need to be to compete. I'm gonna say compete because I'm thinking with my business hat on. Like if you're somebody who's selling a product or a service, especially in the WordPress space, and you start think to yourself is, oh my god, how could I serve the Japan audience, right? If they're not speaking English when they're communicating with me or coming to my sales pages. And again, another win, dare I say, for AI. I've seen amazing advancements, keeping my eye on the podcasting space of like real time translation happening for speech. And I can only imagine if it's real time for speech, it's real time for text.
Mhm.
So if you have the ability to converse with somebody on your site, you have a plugin or a theme, and you're trying to provide that service, these tools are getting so good that that worry comes down, right? Market still increases in competition because you're going to have a lot more competition maybe, but the barrier to help other people in other with through other languages is going to drop to zero,
Yeah,
and that'll be a great thing, not just
yeah.
for WordPress obviously, but for any kind of organization or business.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of folks don't realize like I hear a lot of devs who know how to do to make their plugin properly internationalized. You got to use the internationalization standards. Make sure that get text works correctly with all your strings and all that kind of thing. They focus on all that and then they call it done. But the truth is, like, you can actually have a README in any language you want, a plugin directory README. I mean, nobody does that. I haven't even done that for my recent free plugins. Like I should make a German version of my README right now. Like that's easy. And when they're on the de.wordpress.org /plugins, then your plugin will be in German, not in English. And I mean, that's an easy one. And then, of course, if you have a localized version of the plugin, then when they install it, it's all in German automatically in their website. So that type of stuff, I think, is really important. They also, I mean, .org has the GlotPress setup. It can be a little bit hard to navigate and figure out, but you could jump into the Polyglots channel and make WordPress Slack, and they'll help you navigate, and they'll green light things when they're looking good and everything. So there's ways. Folks just have to take it seriously.
How does WordPress.org plugin repo react now? So if you only have your English README in the plugin, and somebody goes to the plugin listing page, does WordPress.org translate that in the DE version, or it just
Nope.
keeps it in English?
Yep. If you don't have a localized README, then it just serves the English one. But you can create a localized README for any language you want. That's what I mean. I forget exactly the syntax, but it's something like README dash then the language string then dot text, something like that. There's docs on there, but the only plugin that I've seen do that consistently is Yoast. Yoast SEO does a good job on that front.
Makes sense.
I'm sure there's others, but
Yeah.
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 But that was a softball. Let's get into something with a little bit more teeth. Matt's creating some drama out there, and about this new upcoming version of WordPress that's coming out that is being shipped with the ability to fork over some money to some big corporate AI companies, essentially, more or less. I mean, that was your take, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyone who's been in the space for a gazillion years, like you and I have, and maybe a good portion of viewers, we've always wondered, what's the commercial side of .org or the standalone free version of WordPress? Like, what's the commercial side of it? Will it ever be commercialized? For years, I've thought that, well, if we're ever going to see some kind of commercialization of WordPress, it's going to come in the form of, well, maybe Jetpack will have a landing page in the core experience of WordPress. And again, I want to just preface this with, I'm not against it. Well, I'm not against it depending on what I see, but I'm not against automatic making money from the free version of .org. I know that's a hot topic in a debate. Like I want automatic to survive and win. And I was just, testing out some of the AI stuff. Then it dawned on me, like, wait a minute, these three services, at least in the iteration that I tested on Playground, Claude, OpenAI, Gemini, it can't spin those up for free. I mean, maybe they have a free trial, but I think at minimum it's a $5 API, $5 cash in to activate the API. This is the first time I've ever seen anything in WordPress at the core experience says to the user, if you want this, click here, but you're going to have to go buy something in order to get this. And I know through the comments on my thread, the X thread, is a lot of people saying like, well, it's not bundled with WordPress. I get it. I get the technicalities that the plugin isn't bundled in WordPress, and when you activate it, it installs it in the back end. But the core experience is telling people, go buy this now. And for 46-ish% of the internet, I mean, that's a big push to, these other AI services. I mean, granted, AI is super hot. A lot of people know these services without WordPress, thankfully, but there'll be a definite on-ramp. of people who are like, I guess I'll use this Gemini thing now, and click to install it and activate it. So, which is fine. I'm just throwing it out there. Boy, this is a milestone moment, which we'll probably talk about some other stuff
Yeah.
in a little while. Like, this is a milestone moment for WordPress where this sets the stage for something else to come in, and
Yeah.
it sort of softens that blow of like, oh my God, there's a commercial thing here now.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm sometimes not the standard WordPress insider guy on these fronts. I hope Automatic's getting paid to put those things right in there.
Sure.
Like, I would hope and expect that OpenAI would be like, we will pay for top placement to make sure that people can connect to their WordPress website through our API. And there is a lot of WordPress and a lot of Matt Mullenweg that is very idealistic about open source, and would be like, no, like, own your own API keys. Like, if you have an API with OpenAI, just use that and be done. And But I think that that's a missed opportunity personally.
Mm.
Like I mean, which I'm that probably puts me on the opposite camp as what you're saying, but I mean, I think, like, this is the future. We're going to be interacting with WordPress over AI and over APIs a lot more, and um, and the only way for Automatic to continue to be sustainable long term is to try to capitalize that, not only in terms of the functionality but also in terms of profitability, honestly. But
Mhm.
that's my take. But I am almost certain that that's not what's happening here.
Ye Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is I feel like this is the reactionary thing of what's happening with, all the stuff in in the AI team, which is fine. Again, this is like they're just trying to push as fast as they possibly can, while still getting criticized that they're not moving fast enough,
Yeah,
which is not, I don't agree with, but, so I think that's what we're seeing. James LePage, which I don't have the exact link, but I think he posted with either within this thread or he started his own thread of already showing like 12 different providers on that page.
hmm,
Um, which he's already starting to mock up or integrating with, because I do agree, like, the open source side of me is saying like, well, where's the open source stuff here? Like, or where's just the choice of like, I don't need to pick the big three. Um, So, how does a user get that kind of, option or that kind of diversity in their AI tooling? This is where I really think hosting companies are gonna win in the future.
yeah,
Because I think hosting companies are gonna start to lean into potentially hosting their own open models or their own connections to this stuff, and you'll have more opportunity,
yeah,
for diversity in the future.
yeah. I mean, that's where I'm like, listen, if we're going to be idealistic and open source all the way, then make open source models the first class citizens here. Like,
Right.
there are open source models and you can connect into them, and you would be encouraging open source throughout the world in a lot more serious manner. You could do that, but then if you're not going to do that and you're going to put corporate, I mean, technically OpenAI is still a nonprofit foundation, but like, if you're going to put corporate folks right dead center, then you should get paid for that. But this in between of, like, let's just basically be a mediator to the big AI companies and not get any credit for it. That to me seems a little short-sighted, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
this is interesting. These mock-ups that James has here, to add kind of any connector you want. I think that's smart. Also,
Yeah.
oh, here he's showing it even in the WooCommerce area. That's interesting. But
My me, I have to have a good critical eye on on all of this stuff. Is um, I don't think, and this is not, I don't mean this in a bad way. There's just not enough person power, or it's just not priority yet. But I really think that team, the AI team, needs to interface with either content creators like you and I, and they have. I mean, we had Jason on from the AI team a couple weeks ago on the podcast, or a month ago. I've talked to James before. They're very active on Twitter and responding and stuff like this, but I think people need to be right alongside of them, shoulder to shoulder, saying like, here's the stuff that's happening with AI. I mean, we needed that for decades with WordPress development, but I think right now with AI, to keep people interested and to keep people aware of like, here's how fast we're moving. These are the things that we're doing. And more importantly, like, here's how you can start to test it and start using it now. I think is so crucial to where we're at. That's why I've been diving deep into it. For example, I think I did the video that you see on your screen right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I did a quick, just a presentation, because I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, AI is in WordPress now, and you can chat with it." Like everyone started saying, "Oh, now all these things are integrated." Well, it's not integrated into core of WordPress, right? This is the guardrails for other developers and other people connecting into WordPress to leverage a central place for your API keys. Let's just call it that. It's a central place for your API keys, air quotes, 50,000-foot view. But
Yeah.
there is also an AI experiments plugin where you can try the AI experiments plugin. So as
Yeah.
a power user and somebody who follows this stuff closely, I was like, well, certainly if I pair up connectors with AI experiments, I can do some fun stuff. And it didn't work.
Mhm.
Just nothing happened. And then one of the contributors somewhere in there said, "Oh, experiments only works on 6.9." And then I was just like,
Mm.
that doesn't make any sense, right? Like I thought, we're moving so fast. Like, and this is what I mean. Like they need to be able to communicate this stuff, which I know is a super challenge, but they need to either outreach to folks like you and I to help coordinate some of these announcements at a real, digestible level, or somebody on the team within Automatic who creates content really needs to be able to get a hold of this stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway,
100%.
that's my take on that.
Yeah. What is your take in your video where you're saying they're getting it wrong? What are they getting wrong? Just is that what you were?
That's a bit of clickbait, Matt.
Yeah.
I need to get some views. So it's not they, as in the WordPress team.
I
It's
just needed to
they.
hear you say it. That's all. I just
Listen. There are so many people in our space who are buying views now. I
yeah.
am just done. I'm going to lean into the clickbait. So there is an actual they who are getting it wrong, and it's they who are saying that AI is now in WordPress. That's the they. But you
Got
could
it.
confuse it with they, the team.
Yeah, they WordPress are getting it wrong. Yeah, yeah,
Click
yeah.
to find out.
Clear, I get. Yeah, I don't watch your stuff, so I had to ask.
That's
So,
fine.
no, this is good stuff. The other one, honestly, we don't have a link here, but I definitely want to talk briefly about your foray into being locally famous
Oh,
last
yeah.
week. Which, by the way, I'm glad you're safe. So, for those who don't know or weren't paying attention, Matt was and his whole entire state was under snow, like 3 feet of snow or something like that,
Yeah.
for like a
40
week.
40 and yeah, a week, 40 inches officially in my neck of the woods.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. But I made some WordPress news because Matt wrote a post about it, or included me in his like link roundup.
The,
Uh,
the, the third most famous Matt in
the third
WordPress.
most famous Matt in
Yes.
WordPress. So the short story is like 40 inches of snow, huge, like obviously state emergency. Hasn't been that much. It beat the blizzard of '78, which is an old tale around these parts. I wasn't born then, but every time it snowed around here, no matter what, it was always on the news. There's clips of the blizzard of '78 and how cars got snowed in for weeks. um, 40 inches of snow, literally couldn't leave. I mean, I couldn't leave my house, couldn't get down the street, couldn't get out of my driveway nonetheless. And our city and our surrounding cities just weren't prepared for that kind of snow.
Mhm.
So Tuesday night-ish, somebody on Facebook was just like, "Oh, I would love to if the city had some kind of way to show people like what streets are getting plowed, and like and maybe we'd be able to say like our street needs to get plowed too, and all this other stuff." So I took the Claude code and built a bit of an MVP, and I was just like, I have nothing else to do. I'm like, let me just see what I can do. Cloudflare pages, nice little exercise to do this kind of thing. And, the person who happened to say it or ask that question was also a former mayor of our city. So he had quite a reach. I don't know him. I don't have any connection to him. But I just made it, DM'd it to him and said, "Hey, I just threw this together. What do you think?" He shared it on his page, which is like, I don't know, 25,000-ish people that follow him on his page. And it just blew up, right? People started reporting their streets, yada, it was going nuts. I've never launched anything to that kind of fanfare before. Dang it. Conductor came in a close second. Uh, but it took off, and then it really took off the next day because I went to bed. I was like fixing some things and trying to make it, make sure everything was working. Then I woke up the next morning and the police department had shared it as like the way to, to report your emergency. A couple days goes on. I know somebody in the police department, a friend of mine that I used to work with at my first tech job. And he was asking me to help like build stuff in the admin back end to help so that they could coordinate it with the plows going out and the city police and fire and all this other stuff. They could download it and then eventually like mark the streets that were done so that the citizens could be informed that, okay,
So the citizens are saying my street's not plowed, and then the plowing
yeah,
company is saying it is now.
yes,
Basically, oh, that's
yes.
amazing.
So it crazy exercise in a social experiment in like how this stuff all plays out, because I don't know what it's like in Germany. I'm sure people or in the US who can relate to their like local Facebook group of, their town or city. A lot of people just like to complain
Yeah.
about stuff, and that's largely what gets the most noise. So I didn't want from a technical perspective, from a product perspective. Yes, I used AI. I could have made something in WordPress. Like if we didn't have AI, I could have used Gravity Forms and something. It would have taken me many hours to do it. But from the technical perspective and to give myself some like product knowledge credit, I didn't want a user login. I didn't want user registration. One, from like the technical hassle of that and managing that,
Yeah.
and two, from the adoption of the product itself. There was no
Yeah.
way people were like in a time like this that they're okay. I'm going to go to this app, I'm going to register, create an account, create a profile, wait for the email. Okay, access it. All that stuff. So I built it in a way where it was just a majority rules. You search for your street. You say your street is either plowed or not plowed, and it just creates a tally system internally, and you could see the votes. And it just, you flip the streets. So if you have 100 people on the street, 51 say yes, and it's green. The street's green. If 51 say no, the street turns red. And you could come back and vote. You could vote once an hour. And you could come back because obviously if your street gets plowed, you come back and you say yes.
Did you have to have a minimum of votes? Like at least 10 people had to have voted?
No, it would just, you vote once.
It's just one person,
yeah,
then
yeah,
that's 100% already done.
right. So
And do
then
they
it
give
just,
their name and email or IP
nope,
address or no?
nope. I kept all of that. All IP stuff is hashed. It's not
Yeah.
tracked. Still not tracked. Still no user accounts.
Yep.
And then, it just really started going off. Watching it spread on
Yeah.
Facebook, people screenshotting it, like, look at the count here, look at, like, they're not, it's obviously largely people complaining, being like, look,
Yeah.
they haven't plowed this, they haven't done that, what are they doing, yada, yada, yada. And then I got news outlets reaching out to me, doing interviews. The craziest thing, again, from a technical perspective, and for those of us who are in this space, nobody wanted to find out who I was. Like the city was recommending it.
They're like some random guy who's gonna remain random and anonymous.
Matt, I tell you, I kid you not. I'm sitting here at my desk, like the third day of the storm, and the governor came down, and they're in like the place where they're, the emergency command center in our city, and she's doing a live press conference with my app, my website in the background with a map and everything. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, you guys, like, does anybody know what the internet's like? Like, at any point, I could have switched that to like a QR code with a Bitcoin, send me some money.
Yeah.
you know, it's just like nobody wanted to find out who this guy was. It's just really
Yeah.
different. Like
Yeah.
us being in like the technical space and how we approach things of like scale and security.
Yeah.
And then like the rest of the world is just like, give it to us. It's helping us. Like, nobody cares. So it's been a wild ride. I've been releasing features for it. Uh, Now you can like track, you can alert to potholes and stuff. The city
Oh,
reached out
awesome.
this morning. They want to have a conversation with me. A couple other cities have been using it. They reached out during the storm. They wanted to use it. Um, so a real lesson in like, you know, the power of, you know, democratizing software and helping out people. Obviously, the power of AI to help me expedite this stuff. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. So I you know, I might be starting a whole new company as if I needed
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, city works type of app development. That'd
Yeah,
be interesting.
yeah,
And they don't know what these things cost, so that's lucrative.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've done a ton of research, but it's also like I start to think about this whole, you know, speaking of breaking changes, is I mean, I joke about I'm not a developer. I do have a technical background. Obviously, I've been doing this now for many years. So yes, I'm ahead of the curve on this stuff, but I think about where we're at with AI, and if a power user like myself can launch something like this
Yeah,
and turn it into something a year from now, that gap only starts to get, you know, smaller and smaller so long as the economics of AI stay the way stay the way they're at. We could get
absolutely.
a rug pull of your Claude code now cost $10,000 a month
Yeah,
versus 20.
yep,
So that
yep,
could be a thing.
yeah.
Um,
I think something like that, maybe not to that extreme,
right.
but something like
Sure.
that is on the horizon for sure.
Correct.
Like, yeah, sure, you can use the cheap AI for sure, and it will tell you how to make a good apple pie. But
Yeah.
if you want the good AI, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to back up a little bit because we got
Yeah.
Jason Adams in the comments here. Jason Adams is on the core AI team. And he's saying, based on our conversation earlier, for me, the focus has been on getting the AI client out in the hands of plugin developers and working. I think the connectors UI, which we were talking about earlier, is still only going to cater to a very small percentage of users who are able to set up an AI service account and get keys. My little comment thing is breaking it off. Hold on. Let me see. Get keys. The primary focus will remain on empowering the ecosystem to develop AI powered features. Um, Hold on. The connectors UI is still only going to cater to a very small percentage of users who are able to set up AI service accounts and get keys. Okay.
I think he's what he might be saying is that type of there's only a certain type of person who's gonna go set up an API key, which I agree with,
Hmm.
but the issue is WordPress goes out to so many people, and
Yeah.
if this touches your random Joe that has heard about ChatGPT, he's gonna go, "Oh, I can connect ChatGPT to this." Sure, he might fail, but the problem is that might be a bit of a friction
Yeah.
experience there, like, people are like, "Oh, I thought I could get ChatGPT into this."
Yeah. Jason also says, please join the core AI chats in Slack. You're both so welcome. We love your assistance. I am in there. I am a wallflower. I read most everything that's in there. And there is a lot of really good activity, not just from the core AI people, not just from automaticians. There's lots of good folks in there. I see folks from Fueled in there all the time. There's good folks contributing in there. So, and it's I have to say, and I've seen a lot more constructive cooperation with automaticians and any core WordPress person with the community. It's been way healthier than it's ever been in the past, in my opinion. There's a little
Yeah,
bit of a tangent, but I I I just have noticed just a ton of really healthy engagement. It actually is related to this next thing here. Good segue, Matt. Good job. I had this conversation this week with Nick Hamsey. If you haven't heard about it, open up your WordPress dashboard and go to add new plugins. And the first thing you see is this dark screen. Probably not so dark on your screen, but like, where do these plugins come from? You've never seen most of these plugins before in your life, but now they're front and center on the add new plugins screen. And that's because Nick Hamsey checked a checkbox in WordPress.org and changed this whole screen for everyone. I was actually really surprised by that. That was one of my first questions. I was like, was this code? Did you push code? Like, how did that happen? How did this happen without like a core release? And he's like, no, it's a checkbox. Like, you log into WordPress.org, and if you have the user role for it, you can just check on or check off whether or not a plugin is featured in the featured plugins area. And he figured that out by talking with Matt Mullenweg. And Matt said, Nick, go and just change them. Just go change them. Go talk to the right people, go figure it out, and just go change them. And then Nick just went out and dogged anybody who had any responsibility or any gatekeeping roles for those toggles and got access and changed them to these plugins. And he did that. He said a while back, he built a fun little plugin that's only on GitHub right now. It's called Hidden Gems. You install it, and it will enhance your plugin directory in your WordPress site to be able to highlight plugins that aren't crazy popular, but are on the up. They're gaining in active installs. They have really good ratings, all that kind of thing, but they're not in the thousands or tens of thousands or millions of active installs. It's a cool little plugin. And that got him thinking about doing something like this. He got the thumbs up from Matt. He went in and he said he just took, what does he use? He doesn't use Cursor. He uses Copilot. I think he said he used Copilot and just pinged the WordPress.org plugin API and said, find me some really good plugins that need to be highlighted. And he came up with these ones. And then he said that basically he's going to change it out every 2 weeks. And there's also a Slack channel in Make WordPress called Featured Plugins right now. And if you want to recommend your plugin in there, you just go in that channel and you just say, hey, these are the plugins that I think should be featured. He said, definitely gets more weight if it's not your plugin, and they have to pass a certain bit of muster. But I'm excited about this. It's just such a simple change that I think has a dramatic impact on the users. And the other thing that this did, so this is our follow-up conversation with Nick that we just had yesterday, honestly. The other thing that this did,
before you go to that, the checkbox, he didn't have that on his account. He just knows that other admins have access.
He does have it on his account now. He didn't, and he got approval from Matt, and now he has the capabilities.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Because I remember, probably like you, way back in the day, where the contributor or like the theme review team basically could also like feature themes and stuff like that based on the reviews that they did.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is now basically Nick's job. He's not an automatician, but he has the trust of Matt on this. And
he also has a Pokemon store.
He runs a Pokemon store. Honestly, I really think that that's like the key is like he doesn't give two shits. Like, like Nick doesn't have aspirations, and
yes,
so it's not like he can like he doesn't want to do anything nefarious. You know what I mean?
Right. If Matt Cromwell had the keys, on the other hand,
oh geez,
where did that green Porsche come from, Matt? I don't understand where you got that.
I don't know. It's going to change in 2 weeks, so don't worry about it. No, but I was like, I'm sure this has an impact. So sure enough, like 2 or 3 days later, I just went and looked at Mike McAllister's Ollie Menu Designer, which is a great plugin, and I was really happy that it was one of the first to be featured. And you could see how the download count shot through the roof. Now, for those who are uninitiated, download count isn't an awesome metric. It does say how many times a plugin was downloaded by a WordPress install in one form or another, but that could be updates to the plugin. That could be just a download of the zip file from WordPress.org itself into somebody's downloads folder. It could be all kinds of things. But we don't have a lot of other metrics to evaluate these things by at all. And we did notice, though, that the Ollie Menu Designer went from 1,000 active installs to 2,000 active installs also in this span of time. So active installs is another metric that we don't have visibility over anymore at all. We used to, we don't anymore. But it's supposed to say how many websites actually physically are using this plugin enough that they have gone through like at least one update of it or what things like that. So clearly had an impact. And there's a whole thread here of other plugins that got featured who also had spikes in their install counts too. So
yeah, no, it's a fantastic thing. I mean, I think even major companies like Apple have human curation with music and podcasts and news, and
yeah,
it's about time. About time we had this.
About time, really. And in the conversation with Nick yesterday, we talked a lot about like, well, all right, cool. What's next? Can you get like filters into the search? And it is a lot of folks, even in my thread, they were like, oh, cool, but like you still can search for a plugin by name and it won't show up at the top of the search. So the search still has a lot of room for improvement for sure. And it's kind of frustrating because it's an elastic search engine. They have an elastic search engine that is basically on the Jetpack side. It's powered by Jetpack Search essentially. And so it's doing really robust searching. I mean, it has to search through 70,000 plugins. So it's really robust, but it feels like the way it's configured, which you can actually see the code in WordPress.org. Everybody can see the source code of WordPress.org, by the way. It's like really seriously open source. You could see the way that it basically prioritizes plugins according to a certain weight and see how that operates. Folks are just saying like, well, let's deal with that next. Like, why don't we just like make this actually work in a way that is a lot more robust? So I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah, I mean, again, I love the fact that we have it. It's just like, damn, why did it take this long? Because now it's like, it almost feels like we're heading to that situation where we'll be just chatting with our MCP to install plugins, but maybe it earmarks human, like some kind of human curation experience that those of us who really care will be looking at instead of just chatting with our bots about.
yeah. Nice. Well, that's most of what I've got this time. Did you have something else on your mind?
You didn't want to talk about your article?
Oh, we could talk about that article too. One more. You want to talk about this?
Well, I think you and I agree. Of course, you put it much more eloquently than I. I left my note on the make blog post. I think it was before the connector. It was a James post. I should have had this link. But I also think that we're thinking so much now about WordPress interface, and you see all these other people like our friend of the show, Chris Lemma, migrating his site to Astro and Payload, wants MD files, wants to interface with AI bots and all this other stuff. So many people talking about that. And now the experience of WordPress. Yeah, we need to keep up. We need to enhance this stuff. We need to stay relevant. But we're doing this all now for agents and bots hitting the site and MD files. And I'm just like, well, now we're just planning for WordPress to just the experience to be for bots. No offense, bots, but that's what we're thinking about now. And this is a huge departure from how we experience WordPress. And I think you put it much better than I did in your piece, and I absolutely agree. This WordPress 7 is, it's a landmark moment.
Yeah.
Whether you feel it or not, when your site updates to 7, in April, whether you feel it or not, it's that moment that we're not coming back from.
Yep.
I saw somebody, post on Twitter or earlier this week, which I think is like the 6-year anniversary of COVID, like when it
Mm.
like when it really, and somebody was like, "Do you remember when 6 years ago was the last normal day of your life?" And I was just like, "Oh, yeah." Like, I remember that when things were so different back then. This is what's gonna happen when 7.0 hits. I don't mean it as doom and gloom as that, but
Yeah. Well,
it's the
I
change.
mean, that's exactly that tension here is that there's so
Mhm.
many folks who are like, yeah, we're at a cusp of something and it's the demise of WordPress itself. Like
Yeah.
everybody say goodbye, it's all over. And I mean, these are just some random comments. I mean, this guy's got a decent following, but like, and I just see these comments on Reddit everywhere, on Quora, and like in Facebook groups. I mean, we've seen them, but I do think very often those types of comments are coming from the outside looking in. They're not folks who actually are paying that close attention to what's actually happening in WordPress. But that sentiment is not foreign
Yeah.
to common people, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, there is something in the air. But I think it's an event horizon, not a sunset. I think we're at the
Yeah.
beginning of a whole new situation. And there's lots of reasons to think that. Like I just do three main reasons basically, which real quick is the way that they're tackling AI. I do think is amazing. Some folks will say it's too slow, but honestly, like Google went slow. Literally, like ChatGPT was out there doing all kinds of crazy things, and Google was like, "Yeah, we're not going to do AI yet," you know. So sometimes you're
Apple
going to
did
take your
nothing and
time.
hired Google.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apple's been on the sideline being like AI is dangerous, but of course they're going to turn around. Also, the way that the Campus Connect stuff is going, folks, if you're not paying attention to Campus Connect, like just if you want to just feel good about what you're doing in WordPress, like go into the Make Slack channel again. We keep mentioning it over and over again. Go to Campus Connect and just look at all of the positive energy that's happening in there. Folks are creating events in ways that haven't been done before. People are showing up, students are showing up and learning about WordPress for the first time. Certifications are happening, and this is happening again all over the world. It's another one where it's like the internationalization is happening everywhere, and now there's like real energy around learning WordPress in places that are not the United States of America at all. Like I haven't seen a Campus Connect show up in a Western country necessarily. There is one in Italy. That was like the kickoff, um, but
Yeah,
it's happening.
we just interviewed the head of the WordPress credits program. I just DM'd you the link.
Oh,
And it
nice.
was yeah, it was just it's great. It's fascinating to WordPress was always that thing, was the way people learned how to do the web was through for a lot of us through WordPress, through trying to get this thing up on a server 20 years ago. And for them to position this educational component, and hopefully that's a huge foundational piece or fundamental piece for WordPress's survivability moving forward.
100%. Yeah, it's all. I did not know about this. I'm going to actually watch your content now, and
And
it's.
here's the best thing. Here's the best thing, Matt. It's not me. It's Eric.
Oh,
So,
okay, there we go. Now I'm safe. I'm safe. Um, Yeah, the other one is people are talking about flat plugin sales, and I agree. I mean, Katie always comes to every conversation with data, and she's not wrong. I just think that flat plugin sales is an indicator of a very rapidly maturing market. I think that the SaaS space is entering the WordPress market more forcefully and not even on purpose that much. It's just that the SaaS applications are more applicable to a WordPress website than they've ever been before. And so people are choosing those more slick and robust experiences over a kludgy plugin. And that makes it harder to sell overall. So, but a saturated market or a more maturing market needs to be seen as an opportunity for these plugin shops, not just like, oh crap, I can't sell anymore. It's hard. It's not easy at all, but it means that there's demand. That's the thing. It means that there's demand, not that it's getting thinner. So
yeah.
anyway, yeah. That's my
Great
take.
piece, Matt. Good job, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Nothing like literally saving a whole entire town from its snowplow problem, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been great. Again, third time is a charm. Any final thoughts? Any things that you're looking forward to in the next couple of weeks?
Nope, doing a lot of prep for PressConf and doing a lot of interviews for the folks who are hitting the stage at PressConf. So excited for that. Don't forget PressConf.events. Check that out. Otherwise, nope, same steady as she goes. I'll be developing Civic software moving forward, Matt. So
Yeah.
my talk at PressConf is going to be a little bit different.
It's a lucrative area. When you pinged that mayor, you should have been like, "Hey, by the way, I've been working on this for months." That's what you said, right?
Yeah, no, I said I did this in an hour.
Exactly.
And that's fine because I know I have to pivot. I already have to pivot my software company that doesn't exist yet into an AI education company.
Totally.
Like it's already pivoting over to I'm not gonna be able to sell this software. I'm gonna have to show people how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Nice. Yeah, I'm also, I mean, I think I mentioned it last time. I'm also looking forward to PressConf. I think it's going to be awesome. I love these independent events. Also, Checkout Summit is coming up really soon as well. Rodolfo's been putting on a show over there. I think it's going to be great. It's kind of like the first real independent WooCommerce event. And if you think about it, like Shopify has this huge conference that they do all the time, and WooCommerce just hasn't had something like that. Right now, Checkout Summit's not huge. It's more intimate, private. But I think it's going to be a great event. I think it has lots of potential to be something really significant in the e-commerce space in general. But first year is always hard. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to being there. Besides, it's in Palermo. Like, why not have an excuse to go to Palermo? So
Heard it's beautiful.
yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But
Roots
and
of Roots has the budget. The WP Minute does not.
Well, it's not that far from me. So nice. Cool, folks. Have a good one.
If you have if you just
okay.
for folks in the audience, subscribe to both of our channels, follow us every other Friday here. If you have stuff you want us to cover, you like these two talking puppets talking about WordPress, let us know. What was the Muppet Show, the two old dudes up in the balcony?
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
That's us. You
Why
got
do you have
something
to
they want us to
introduce that
cover?
to everybody's minds? Now that's definitely going to be what they say now.
You want us to cover something, ping us, let us know, and we'll chat about it on the show. We're happy to break your changes right here, live.